Good morning. Welcome again to Morning Devotions, and thank you again so much for our time together. It's a beautiful day. We're looking forward to Revival Nights. I encourage all the husbands and the wives to be in the East Campus Revival Night tonight. And then I encourage all the families, bring your children, bring your young children, bring the teenagers as we minister to the family tomorrow night in Revival Nights out of Noah. A man who raised a righteous family, shining like a star in the darkness. He wasn't swallowed up by the darkness of his generation. He was a remnant that shined like a star in the universe. And because of one man who kept his family right, a whole world was changed. Right now, I want us to come back to the book of Luke. The book of Luke, chapter 1, and I want to start here in Luke 1 by looking at three incredibly beautiful leadership truths. I'd like us to start in Luke chapter 1, beginning with verse 1. Many have undertaken to draw up an account of the things that have been fulfilled among us, just as they were handed down to us by those who were from the first, were eyewitnesses and servants of the word. Now there's an incredible truth. Did you hear that? Servants of the word. They were not servants of a doctrine. They were not servants of a theology. They were not servants of a denomination. They were servants of the Word. Now this is one of the first truths we need to understand about apostles, prophets, evangelists, pastors, and teachers. We are not servants of money. We don't preach for money. We are servants of the Word. Now if you're listening to me today and you're a pastor, could I just ask that you meditate on that all day long? What does it mean to be a servant of the Word? I just got lost reading my Bible this morning as I was preparing these. Just servant of the Word. That's who I am. That's my identity. I am a servant of the Word. I'm not a servant of theology books. I don't want to teach people about the Bible. I'm a servant of the Word. I want to teach people the Bible. And now look down at verse 15 and verse 16. He takes it to another truth. For he will be great in the sight of the Lord. He is never to take wine or other fermented drink, and he will be filled with the Spirit even from birth. Now, there's a lot of truth in there. But just notice, great in the sight of the Lord. Now, that is what a leader is to be. We are not to be great in the sight of men. We may be at the end of the humiliation parade, as Paul teaches. We may be nothing. We may be mocked. We may be scourged in this world. But in God's sight, we're great. Now, this is something I am to strive for as a pastor. And I would challenge all of the pastors that listen to me, please. We're servants of the Word. We are not meant to be great in the sight of the world, but great in the sight of God. And then look at one more down in verse 17. Beautiful, beautiful truth. And he will go on before the Lord in the spirit and power of Elijah, to turn the hearts of the fathers to their children, and the disobedient to the wisdom of the righteous, to make ready a people prepared for the Lord. That's who I am. I'm a servant of the Word. I'm to be great in the sight of God. And my job is to turn hearts. That's my job. My job is to turn the hearts of parents to their children. My job is to turn the hearts of the disobedient to the wisdom of righteousness. Now there's an incredible truth to just get lost in for a few hours. Turning people from disobedience, turning believers, turning the people of God from disobedience to the wisdom of righteousness. And why do I do that? My purpose? To make a people prepared for the coming of the Lord. Now, whether that's the first coming of Jesus, which is what John's ministry was, whether that's preparing people for the rapture that I believe is coming any day. My grandpa believed it'd come before he died, and he's been dead for years now, but Jesus is coming soon. And to prepare a people, really, for revival. Because that's what the first coming was, a revival movement among the Jews. Revelation chapter 2 and chapter 3, to each of the 7 churches, with one exception, he said, I'm coming soon. And to that exception, he said, behold, I stand at the door and knock. Brothers and sisters, revival is God coming to his people. The role of a spiritual leader is not to keep people living in disobedience and to keep families broken up, but to turn the hearts of the families to each other, to turn the hearts of Christians from disobedience to the wisdom of the righteous, to prepare people for revival.